Their truck wasn't like Michael's. There was no dog box on the back. I sat in the front seat with them instead of in the back where the sled dogs are supposed to be. We drove for a long time. There weren't many trees in this new place, but there were lots of cars and houses. When we finally stopped, I was happy to get out of the truck and run around. I had never sat still for that long before. Other kids came over to Kelly's yard. I played with them all because I wasn't tied to a pole. They let me run all over the backyard because there was a fence around the yard. It was a tall, solid brown fence, and I couldn't see anything on the other side. I was having fun with the kids, but I missed my mother and family. I wondered if they missed me too. When Kelly brought me a dish of food, I got even lonelier, thinking of the dinner Michael must have been cooking. But the food Kelly gave me was good. I thought maybe this wouldn't be such a bad place to live after all. When it started to get dark, they did a strange thing. They called me to come inside their house. I didn't know dogs could go into people's houses. Kelly let me explore the whole place. Some of the floor was soft, some was hard, shiny, and slippery. Once or twice my feet slid out from under me. Kelly laughed each time. There was another person in the house with Kelly and Dad. She was Kelly's mother. Kelly called her Mom. When I saw Kelly with her mother, it really made me miss my mother even more. After a while, Mom and Dad told Kelly that it was time for bed. Kelly took me into the kitchen where there was a big pillow on the floor. "Here's your bed, Judy," Kelly said, picking me up and putting me on the pillow. Everyone kissed me goodnight and turned off the lights. Some moonlight came in through the windows. This kitchen was a nice room, but it was too warm. I missed the cold, fresh scent of the outdoors, and the pillow was too soft. I longed for the scratchy straw in my doghouse and the sounds of the dog life. For the first time, I missed the wind in the trees and the howls of the other dogs. The next day was the same as the first. Lots of kids came over to play with Kelly and me. I ran with them around the yard, which was fun, but it was always got but they always got tired before I did, and I'd have to wait for them to stop panting. Even though I was running around, I felt frustrated that I had to stop at that fence. I felt penned in because I couldn't see what was on the other side of the fence. Every day was the same, and I loved it. Then one day things changed. Instead of coming to breakfast in jeans, Kelly was wearing a dress. Dad had to tell her twice to hurry or she'd be late for school. When she was finished eating, she picked up a big bag and said, "Come on, Judy, we're going to school." She took me by the collar and led me out to the car where Mom was waiting. We drove a short time, stopped at the biggest building I had ever seen. Kids were running and playing everywhere. This was going to be great, I thought. If some of the kids got tired playing with me, then others could take over. When Kelly opened the car door, I jumped over her legs and down to the ground. "Judy, come back here," Kelly said, yelling at me. I'd never been talked to like that before, and the loud sound of her voice made me shrink down until my belly scraped the sidewalk. Kelly picked me up, looking a little sad. "Poor Judy, I'm not mad at you." She put me back on the seat. Mom said, "I wish Kelly were as eager to go to school as you are, Judy." They both laughed, and I felt a little better because they weren't mad at me. Then Kelly closed the car door and walked away with her friends. As we drove back home, I wondered when Kelly would be home again. Mom played with me a little in the backyard, then said, "Judy, I have work to do in the house. You be a good dog and play out here." When the back door shut, I felt really confused. What was I supposed to do out here in the backyard all by myself? There was no one to play with, and that stupid fence was keeping me from going anywhere. I wondered why Kelly wanted to take me away from my family. if she were going to leave me all alone. It was the longest day that I had ever spent. Mom came outside a few times and played with me and gave me fresh water, but I was terribly lonely. I missed my family and my old home. The smell of my mother's coat was beginning to fade in my scent memory. When Kelly finally stepped through the door into the backyard, I was so happy to see her that I jumped straight into her arms. "Did you miss me while I was at school?" she asked. I licked her face to let her know that I sure did miss her. We played in the backyard until Dad came home. Then we all went for a walk around the lake across the street. We sat down and watched the ducks swimming. Watching the mother and her babies made me miss my family again. Finally, Mom said, "It's time we go home." I was really excited and ran across the street to the truck. I thought we were going home to Michael's. But when they caught up to me, Kelly took me by the collar and led me into the house. That's when it really hit me. This was my home now. I wasn't going anywhere. They talked all about me during dinner. I had already finished eating and was sitting by Kelly's chair, hoping she would give me some of what she was eating. It sure smelled good. They were saying Judy wasn't the right name for me. Since I look like a fox, maybe I should be called Foxy. I didn't like the name Foxy. My name was Judy, and that's what Michael called me. After everyone finished eating, we went into the living room. Kelly held up one of my favorite treats and said, "Come here, Foxy." I went over to her and she gave me the treat, saying, "Good, Foxy, good dog." Then Dad did the same thing. Then Mom did it too. I figured I could keep this up as long as the treats kept coming. They were so pleased with me. I decided to go along with them on this new name. Goodbye, Judy, I thought. Hello, Foxy. It seemed like the last link to my old home was gone. But that night I dreamed of my mother and the other dogs and awoke with their ancestral howls in my ears. It took a long time for me to go back to sleep.